Vincenzo's Gold Crypto Investing this June the 22nd, 2025. Daily, nightly cryptocurrency, blockchain technology, gold, and silver bullion update that you've come to expect, love, need, and deserve from the number one and one of the few and only, along with XRP Future Millionaire, channels that are out there for the retail trader and investor. And that's the extreme reason with this extreme market volatility and criminal manipulation to fleece and heist and shyst and prey upon the retail traders. And as you do know, this sphere is infiltrated and infested with paid charlatans like BitBoy Crypto, Carl from the Moon, Crypto, and the rest of those shysters that just continuously always tell you to buy, never tell you the downside. Even if it's a multi-year downside, they will tell you all the way to the last minute to put it all in to any one of the assets that they're shysting and heisting you on, and they will get paid by coins, in coins, to promote a new coin on a launch, and then they sell the coins and dump to the retail trader and their audience on a coin that's going to go down 99.99269% in the coming weeks after they do that. So you want to facilitate and stay away from those, and that's what we're here for. And you know, my Jabroni Killer members, my subscribers, hit that subscription down below. It's free, easy, and simple. Just hit that bell notification so you never miss one of these videos. And you would have known that that dump this weekend was going to happen. You would have understood with the first mover advantage, with a probability-based system, that we're in this mountain double top, very similar to almost exactly, if it does actually play out, like the 2021 to 2022 mountain double top there. You see that? And the second one did actually just sneak above and create a new all-time high from the one that happened back there in June of 2021, where we topped out, and old Vincenzo was on board there and identified that pattern for you in that multi-year bear market, right? Then we've come all the way back up here, and we've created nearly the same thing, but there is a caveat, because you can see on this one, there was just a straight run up, right? From the 2018 bear market, there was just a straight run up to this Furton Mountain double top. Like we always say, they rhyme, but they don't exactly follow, because if you notice, this one had the big run up similar, but we had a mid-ground consolidation, and then the Donald Trump president-elect forced it to that final first hump of the blow-off mountain double top. Then we had a 33% correction down to that double bottom of target. Again, my Jabroni Killer members, and another reason to join the movement, join the channel, join the momentum and the education and truth, trust, information, and this probability-based system that we use to become asset millionaires via gold and silver bullion, 401k steady investing, real estate and cryptocurrencies, right? And cash too. You always have to have some dry powder so you can accumulate or buy new assets along the way, right? But you see, we had a 33% correction there. We called for this first mover advantage. Back on this mountain double top, we were targeting the 74,000. We just moved that into the future. And then it did come down there. But that's where that double bottom took place. In the daily time frame, you can see the double bottom much easier and much better. You see this right here. See that double bottom? That's what we're talking about in the daily time frame. It happened very, very quickly, but that was the double bottom that signified the pump. Then we went into this rising channel, right? And we should actually have that. I guess we can keep that in black, even though it looks ugly. But we should have these bigger. That was the rising channel that we were in during this whole run-up for the mountain double top that brought us in to a new all-time high. But we've since broke out of that, and now we've traded sideways to down, and we've been dancing on the moving averages. Now we're playing the moving average game, where we're crashing from above to back below the moving averages. So what happens is, the first dump down, you come down to the first moving average, and you bounce back up. Then the 100-day starts to trend down, and that knocks you down to the next level. And this time, when you come back down, you'll break the 100-day moving average, and you'll come down to the 200-day, which now just so happens to line up to the 93,571.46 yellow major underneath initial support level, right? But you guys already know that. And what I would expect now, like we were talking about earlier this afternoon, and it's funny that it actually did happen, is we had that reactionary bounce off of the 100-day moving average. And now what you would likely see is if this continues up, you go back to the 50-day in the daily. and that would be where you would expect a rejection. Now, things don't always go according to plan. They could just roll over right now and have a horrific sell-off overnight tonight, and when you wake up tomorrow, it's sitting down there at 93,571.46. But if it gets after this big correction to the downside, as you know, Bitcoin and the cryptos don't go straight up and down. But since June the 9th, it was down earlier today 11%. So that's a big move, or $12,152. So what you could see is a rally maybe back up as high as this to get back into this major buy and sell zone, which is a major sell zone now where you're coming from. And that could turn the price around, and that could be what actually drives you down to the 93,500 and change, right? So that's something that we're looking at where the 100-day moving average is, right? And that's, you can see that clearly down there. So that's what we're looking at down there, and that should actually be up there where the 97,000 is. But that's the Bitcoin, what we're looking at in the short term. And become members of Jabroni Killers if you're not on board yet. It helps support the channel. It's as cheap as $3.99 a month to help support the channel. I just put out my first video where I'm in the video doing technical and giving you my insights. We're putting price targets out, weekly price targets. We just put what we expect for Bitcoin, XRP, Ethereum, and the Bitcoin, what we think the price ranges are this week. Over the weekend, before the big drop happened, when Bitcoin or when XRP was still sitting at 230, we put where our price target was in the coming weeks, right? So become members of Jabroni Killers. You just hit that link as low as $3.99 to support the channel. Just click that right there. Hop on board. And we aim to become asset millionaires by building wealth through stocks, cryptocurrencies, gold and silver, mining stocks, and bullion, real estate, 401k investing, right? We arm you with truth, trust, education, and information to navigate a system rigged by criminal manipulation and currency devaluation, which is very important to understand. The elite stack the deck. We teach you how to flip the tables, right? So just hit that join button, become a member. It's very, very important, as this is very time-sensitive information that we go over here. And if we look at some of the other things that have happened here recently with the Bitcoin bear market history, 2011, 93%, 163 days. 2014, 86%. These two bear markets, especially the 2011, nobody knew about it. 2014, really nobody knew about it. 410 days. 2018, where people started to know about it, 84% or 364 days. 2021, 2022, 77% down, 381 days. So they average about a year's long is the average bear market for Bitcoin. So that would make sense if that first double top was the start back in February. So about the end of this year or the beginning of next year, we should be starting, if this is actually going to where I think it's going, where we start the next leg to the bull run. Average decline, 85%. Average duration, 11 months. XRP, that's very interesting, and we're going to pay attention to that, because that would mean we're about halfway through this bear market after we just had the mid-ground double top, if that's actually what's happening, right? What I think's happening, but I'm not a financial advisor, nor do I tell you to buy or sell anything. And obviously the thing could go completely the opposite way that my current thinking is. Average duration, 11 months. XRP bear market history, 2014, when nobody really knew about it, 94%, 600 days. 2018, 96%, 800 days. 21-22, 78%, or 500 days. So a noticeable trend here, unlike the Bitcoin, where it's just stayed about the same. XRP has noticeably started the trend of a much lower bear market percentage-wise, where we were 94, 96. Then we were only 78 last time, and considerably almost 50% less at only 500 days that time, right? So that's very interesting. Average decline, 89%. Average duration, 633 or 21 months, right? So that's very interesting. If we look at that, Bitcoin bear market tend to last 11 months with an 85% drop. XRP bear markets are often longer and deeper, averaging 90+% corrections over a year to 2 years. All coins like XRP typically experience harsher downturns and longer moves. So if Bitcoin, if it did its average move, what did it say, 83%? 85%. So Bitcoin from its all-time high, if we zoom out to show you the method to some of the methods of the madness. And these are the things that go into this probability-based system that we use to trade and to accumulate and to buy assets. So if we go 85%, that is a steep run. I don't think it's going that far, because 85% would bring you just above that $11,318. And that was a target at the end of this bull run, and we didn't quite get there. So that would actually be funny if we got there this time. That was a target out of this mountain double top, and you can see we got as low as 15,651. So we missed it by about $4,000, less than $4,000. But that was a great call, because percentage-wise, we only missed it going down by about 26.97%. But when we made the call, we were way up here. So the price came down. We were making a call that it would go down 82.56%. It went down 76.94%. I would still say that's one hell of a call by old Vincenzo, and giving the subscribers and my community, when we were just in the infancy, that first mover advantage back there to take advantage of the upcoming bull run that we did have in 2024 and 2025. Now it looks like we may be at another top where we have to have a lengthy correction. If we go look at the XRP price, it's the same thing. The XRP price is sitting here at the $2.09 major area, but it's actually below that now because it broke the technical move down there, or a technical level. It got below the critical neckline support, just like XLM got below a critical 25.5 cents. You can see that is forcing a bearish reversal. I think this is where the XRP, you're going to see this 50-day get below this 200-day moving average right there in a few weeks. And I think that's going to be after an initial push down. And I think either we could come up all the way back up into here before we get a rejection, but we're going to have an initial push down to a regional double bottom, followed by, I believe, XRP, just like you're seeing right here in the track, in one of them, sort of trying to hint at that, which is very interesting. I think you're going to come back from down here, swing back up into this area, meet this overhead resistance now that's there, and then the 50-day in the daily is going to be overhead running down like that, and that's what's going to collapse the price. That eventually, a little bit further out into the future, if my thesis is correct, that drives us to this $1.29 technical target, if you could follow me along there, right? I know that was a lot of drawing and a lot of lines, but essentially what I was saying is that 50-day moving average in red there, that's sitting there at about $2.21. Over the next couple of weeks, it trends down because the price is trending down. It falls below a 200-day moving average, has a bearish cross there, a golden bearish cross, and then as that is taking place, the price goes from where it is now, eventually makes it down here to reach that double bottom, and then starts to trade back up into that falling 50-day in the daily, and that's what drives it down, right? To illustrate more of what I was talking about there. I think that's what could be playing out here in the XRP, as it's also flipping now. In the process of flipping it, you're making a history process where this 209 neckline support becomes a major resistance zone after it was a major support zone for about 6 months, right? And for about 6 months now, the XRP price has been trading down. The XRP price has been in a bear market. The XRP price has been having profit taking and moving in a direction that 99.69% of the people out there were not expecting, nor were they predicting, nor educating and putting out the information that it could happen. And at current price, it's down 40.92% since the early January high, and it's been down as much as 52%. And I'm calling for a targeted move of a 62.23% from the high of 340, with a potential bottom of 69 cents all the way to about the 86 cents. So that would be a 79.92% collapse, which would be in line with historical norms after a bull market in XRP. It would be actually what you would expect. You would expect over 6 months or a year after the move, you come back into this range for maybe 3 or 4 months, and then you shoot up and have another major move to the upside. So that would be what I'm targeting. I would be targeting more buys somewhere as it hits the $1.29 and south. Anything below the $1.29, and obviously heavy max accumulation at 67 cents, right? But I won't accumulate until it gets at least to my targeted move. With the XLM price, it's the same thing. We gave you the first mover advantage again. Another reason, and I can't believe people aren't just joining by the droves to be members of Jabroni Killers, as you would have known that that was a great area to profit take, size down positions, not sell out, but size down over the coming weeks and months as the price was going to start to come down, because we laid a 25.5 cent target. We laid bearish crosses, the moving averages, which happened. We laid out a 18 and potentially 14 cent target, and then we did have another one down here. And then a cataclysmic drop. We did lay out how you could come down potentially maybe as far as 8 or 9 cents below where this move started. We laid out what was going to go on over the next 6 to 8 months back in the heart of the wintertime in the Northern Hemisphere, right? And in the great state of Michigan. Not many people believed. The channel started picking up momentum. We have great momentum going now with a great, strong, deep, educated, and smart community that helps support and spread the message. Share this on your social media platforms and educate people to become asset millionaires like us. And they would have understood, like you guys did, you had your bags, you bought what you bought during the last bear market, and you understood not to buy stuff like that in XLM or in any of the coins that you were watching, whether they went up 8 times or 20 times themselves. You understood not to buy, and we understood that there would be a superior buying opportunity in the future back there in the past, which the future is now, that we were going to come down more than likely with high certainty in my eyes of that 14 to 18 cents, right? So that's what I'm targeting right now. But in the short term, could this come up like this Monday or Tuesday and then get rejected in classic hook nose, bearish reversal pattern situation? Absolutely. But I think these underneath targets are more than likely going to get hit. But I would expect a slight rally to start the week after a major downturn on the coins this weekend. And the Jabroni Killer member asked about AMP, because this is what I do believe, a pattern that we were in, my new thesis on here, because I believe at some point we will be way high, flying high between the 2 and 5 cents. But you can see these last two rallies, the springtime of 24, the COVID or the Donald Trump electoral win pump. You can see it's been in this horizontal consolidation, and we've been theorizing that it could be a flagpole, and then this is your flag, and then you'll have a breakout like that, because that is a bullish pattern when it's trading horizontal in a channel that's sort of like a flag, right? And then your breakout point would come up to the 2.5 cent level. And we theorize that we're just consolidating longer because we needed to. And somebody asked, well, we dipped out just below the line that we had. That is true. But you notice we've had several. Let's actually delete that. We've had several of these times where that has happened. You can see we dipped out back here in 2024 a few times, but then we came back in. We dipped out in a big wick down here in August of, I believe, 2024, but then we came back in, and then you can see now we dipped out again. We had a few dip outs back here in April of this year, and now we've dipped out again. What I would be saying what could happen here is we dip down, but then we fire back in here and hold it and then start to trade back up. But if we confirm this as breaking out of this pattern, he was asking about levels of support. If you do confirm out of this and you break down out of this pattern, where would you look to go? And your first area major support would be here. You can see major support and resistance in a breakout, right? So that would be a level that you would target right down there. And that adds and actually comes down to just below this wick. And if you just extended the current falling channel that we were in, that we attempted to trade and break out of right here, but it was a false breakdown because we traded straight back down, that would be going along. If we just extend these longer into the future, you can see they would eventually run into each other. But this 0.00254 would be an area that I'd be targeting. And then the next area that you would target would be the swing low down here at 0.00140. Like the channel, subscribe, become part of the movement, become part of the Jabroni Killers, become part of the asset millionaire class. Peace and love. The Rock's eyebrow, Jay.